What's up, guys? It's Corpse Class here. Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are ready for this one. This one's a crazy one. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's go ahead and get into it. This story starts off during my freshman year of high school, which wasn't too long ago, but a lot of these story times are basically when I'm in high school and partially middle school. And this was high school, so I'm already like almost done with my first year, and I'm going into my second year almost. Like I'm almost done, and it's April, and I'm hanging out with my one friend, who we'll call Alan. So hanging out with Alan and a friend that Alan knew invited both of us to go to his birthday party. And I just thought it was like a normal hangout. Like he was just gonna have like it was gonna be us, maybe like another friend of his, and we were all just gonna kind of like chill and hang out and whatever, play video games or something. It really wasn't. I didn't. There's a whole bunch of people that were there that I didn't know that were coming. So me and Alan were like, yeah, we're down. So I check with my parents. They let me, and the date of the party comes around, and because I don't drive a car, so my dad drops me off at his house, and I don't want to keep calling him like Alan's friend or whatever. So we're just gonna call him Jason. So I get to Jason's house. I go in, I say hi to everybody, like his mom, and like that was really it. This party was just filled with a bunch of like kids, like all these like high schoolers, and they're all from different grades and whatever. And his mom is just so chill about it. She just didn't care, I guess. And she's like, "All right, you guys have fun. I'm out of here." And she just left, and I just don't know where she went. She just kind of left. She left a whole bunch of like 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds just unattended. So I'm like, all right, cool. We're gonna chill by ourselves, have a good time. So we're chilling. We go outside, play some basketball. I suck at basketball, so I kind of like offered to not be on the team of anyone at all, because I suck like bad at sports. That's why I just don't play them. And they're playing basketball. We go inside, chill, and then we start playing some video games. And a lot more people start to come, like a whole bunch. And then this one guy, I think he's he's way older than us. He's maybe like 19 or 20. He gets there, and he's like, "Yo, you're Jason." And Jason's like, "Yep, that's me." And he's like, "Cool, what can I set up?" Come to find out, this is a legit DJ that this dude hired for his party. And so I thought that was pretty cool. Like, I've never seen that before. So the DJ sets up, they're playing music, the lights are dim, people are walking around, they're talking. There's like, he has a big living room, so it's kind of like a dance floor, in a way. So it's people like, in the middle of the living room dancing and whatever, and I'm with, a couple of people like talking, and I'm with my main friend Alan, and we're talking, and I have like a red Solo cup with like soda in it, and things start to get out of hand when these two kids that we're gonna call them Sam and Marcus. These two kids, Sam and Marcus, these two kids are not the smartest, they're not the brightest, and they start going through Jason's like his kitchen, and they start opening the fridge, like going to the pantry and the drawers, and me and Alan see this, and we're like, what the hell are they doing? And eventually they find this cabinet, and this cabinet's kind of like one of those high top cabinets. So you know how like the cabinets on the walls like above you, like overhead cabinets, and they have all like the dishes, plates, bowls, cups, and whatever. And then you got those really high cabinets far up, and they're like small doors, and you can store stuff in there. Well, they find like that cabinet, and this cabinet is like above the refrigerator, so it's like kind of stored like off to the side kind of like position it's at, I guess. And inside of there is alcohol. And these idiots, they find the alcohol, and there's like all kinds in there. Like there's like a case of beer in there, there's shot glasses, cups, there's Crown Royal, like they have all the alcohol in there. And Jason, he's like walking around the house making sure everyone's having a good time, and he walks to his kitchen and he sees the guys pulling the alcohol out of the cabinet. And he walks over and he's like, "Yo, what are you doing?" Like, "Guys, like that's it's alcohol, I can't be drinking that, put that back." And they're like, "Nah, man, like we're just gonna have a little bit of it." And I guess like Jason had the craziest adrenaline rush, and he's like, "You know what, screw it." And I see him like pull a chair out from the table, and again he stands on top of it, and he places one foot on the table and his other foot like on the chair, and he's kind of like standing like if he was like, I don't know, like a superhero or something. and he's like, yo guys, got some alcohol over here, come get some. And everyone just starts racing over there, and me and Alan, and we're like, what the hell is going on? You don't need to do all that, bro. Like, alcohol, we're like 14, 15, dude, we don't need alcohol. So me and Alan, we're just like, we're gonna stay away from that, we'll just stick with the Coca-Cola. So we just stick with drinking soda and water. And Jason's like, yo guys, like, you want to drink? Like, we got all this crazy stuff, and we're just like, nah, like, we're not gonna do all that, like, that's just, stupid. And he's like, you guys, like, whatever, like, at least you're still here. And we're just like, yeah, party's fun. And it was fun until they pulled the alcohol out, because then I'm just here, like, watching all this stuff happen, and I'm like, well, it's not fun anymore, because these underage kids are doing stupid stuff. And so the party kind of expands a little more people show up, and it expands from like the whole inside of the house to the backyard. So now Jason walks over to the back door and he opens it up, and he's like, you guys, if you want, you can go out in the backyard, chill out there, come back inside, that kind of thing. So that's what people do. They're inside, they're chilling, they go outside, they're chilling, all that, they're having fun. Now, so mainly the party, it escalates outside. Like, everyone is outside. Like, more people are outside than they are inside. And it's the evening, sun's going down, the sun sets out. And so me and Alan, we go outside, and we're out there having a good time. We're chatting, talking, and everything's just going, like, good. And, Alan runs out of his drink. And I tell him, like, yo, you want me to go grab you another soda? Like, I'll just grab the can. Like, we don't got to pour it in the cups. And he's like, yeah, like, sure, that sounds good. And I walk inside, and I see Marcus in the kitchen by himself. And, there's some people in the living room, but there's more people outside. So I walk into the kitchen, and then I see Marcus, and he's holding, like, a bottle of vodka. Or he just has, I don't know if it was vodka, but it was a really tall bottle. And he's holding it, and I'm like, you're going to drink that? Because he doesn't have a cup. He doesn't have a shot glass. He just has the whole entire damn bottle in his hand. And he's like, hell yeah, man. Like, I'm finna get lit, And I'm like, it's Sunday. Like, it's literally Sunday. There's school tomorrow. And I wasn't planning to stay the whole entire time. I was planning to leave at like 8:30 or so. And it was like maybe 6 o'clock, 6:30. And I'm like, you're going to drink that entire bottle? And he's like, hell yeah. Like, I'm going to drink this whole damn thing. And I'm like, all right, have fun. Like, I can't stop you, So I just grab the sodas and I go back out. And Marcus is following me outside. And I see him, like, as soon as we get outside, this dude runs over, and there's, like, this big old table, like, there's just kind of, like, nice glass table with some nice chairs, sitting in the backyard, like, sitting in the grass with a nice outside rug and an umbrella, and there's a trampoline back there, a fire pit out there, and he runs over to that table, and he grabs a chair, and he throws it into the air. And, like, when that happened, like, later after the party kind of was over, I asked him about it. And he was like, I was getting everyone's attention. And I was like, you're a freaking idiot. You can just be like, yo, like, hey guys, you didn't have to throw a damn chair into the freaking air. So he grabs the chair, he throws it in the sky, it lands back down, and everyone's looking, and they're like, what the hell's this guy doing? And Jason, he walks out of the crowd, and he's like, hey man, I can't have you throw my furniture around, don't be doing that. And he's like, my bad, bro, I was just getting people's attention. And Jason's like, well, what? Like, what is it? And he's like, I'm like, I need some dares. Like, I need you guys to, like, tell me to do some stuff. And we're just all looking at him like, you gotta be the stupidest guy on earth. And this one kid speaks up, and he's like, drink that whole bottle. And he's, like, in the back. And then everyone just starts cheering on about that. And Jason's looking around, and he knows things are, like, going a little out of hand. And Jason's like, you know what, man? Do it. And so this dude just starts, like, trying to drink this entire bottle of alcohol, this tall-ass bottle. And he's chugging. And he's got this, like, dazed face of, like, oh, it's, like, tastes horrible. And I'm, like, me and Alan are seeing this, and we're like, we should just go inside and kind of just let that calm down, whatsoever. So we kind of just back off, and we go inside, and we're sitting in the living room with some other people that are in there. And we're in there, and we're kind of talking with them, like, having a conversation. And out of nowhere, some kid runs in, and he's like, yo, guys, there's a fight outside. You guys, a fight's about to start, like, there's a fight. And me, not Marcus, my bad. Me and Alan get up, and we run over to the backyard, swing the door open, and Marcus and Sam have their hands up, ready to start, like, throwing down, like, start just boxing away. So they have their hands up, and they're ready to fight, And me and Alan were like, what the heck? So I grab my phone out and I'm like, I gotta record this. Like, this is about to be gold. And Sam was like, you gotta knock it off, man. Like, you're drunk as hell. Like, knock it off. And I hear Marcus go, do something. And Sam was like, I will. And Sam just like punches him straight across the face. Boom! Straight in the face. Marcus like stumbles back, and then Marcus like charges forward, and he tackles Sam to the ground. And now they're just wrestling in the grass. And Jason runs over and he's trying to break it up. He's like, yo, guys, stop. And he grabs Sam and he's trying to pull Sam off of Marcus. And Marcus gets up off the ground and he jumps and he grabs Sam. And like right as he grabs Sam, he pulls Jason down on accident. So now Jason hits the ground. And me and Alan were like, all right, we got to stop this. So we run over and Jason gets up and I grab Sam. And Alan grabs Marcus. And Jason's like, guys, knock it off. And he's like standing in the middle of us holding like the two guys. And he's saying like, you know, calm down, no more alcohol. If you guys are gonna keep fighting, get the hell out of my house. And so they just stop. They stop fighting. And Sam like turns around and he's like, I don't got time for this. Like, you know, like, screw you, Marcus. You know, like, you know, go, go F yourself. And Marcus ain't taking none of it. And I hear him say it again. And I just turn to Jason and I'm like, you better get ready to stop this fight again. And Sam turns around, he throws the middle finger at Marcus, and Marcus charges at Sam, tackles him again, and starts like throwing down, like beating down. And me and Jason are like, all right, let's just get this over with. And me, Jason, and Alan runs in too. We run over and we grab them, we're stopping the fight. And in the background, I hear a punch, like a pop, and it sounds like skin to skin contact, like someone got punched in the face. And I perch my head up, and I see these other guys fighting. So now there's two fights. We just stopped Marcus and Sam from fighting, and now these guys are fighting. And so, Jason and Alan, they get the two dudes under control. Jason eventually kicks Marcus out. Like, he kicked Marcus out of the party. And Marcus left, and now Sam is like, he's chilled out now. And I run over to these other guys fighting, and we're like trying to calm them down. And I recognize one of them, and one of them is actually someone from my class, like one of my classes, who we'll call Chad. And Chad's like, you know, I'm not going to deal with this. Like, you can't be doing that. Like, I'm going to kick your ass. Like, I'm going to beat you. And I'm asking Chad, like, dude, what happened? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are we fighting here? And he's like, this doofus is hitting on my girl. And I look at Chad and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And he's like, no, I'm not kidding. Like, this dude's hitting on my girl. And I hear the other guy chime in, who we'll call Carter. And Carter's like, no, I wasn't, man. I didn't even know that she was dating you. And he's like, yeah, you did. Like, you seen us walking the halls with each other, you know, holding hands. And I'm like, all right, they're fighting over a girl now. What are we doing here? Like, this is ridiculous. And so, like, the girlfriend, like, Chad's girlfriend, she steps up and he's like, guys, like, stop it. You know, like, let's not do this right now. Let's just enjoy the party. And Chad is a big guy. Like, he's, like, muscular kind of big. Like, he's got, like a stomach, but he's got big arms. So he's, like a you know, kind of like a bulked guy. And he shakes Jason off. And I see him, like, he doesn't even run. He walks. He walks toward Carter. And Carter is like a scrawny kid. And so I just assumed that Carter was the first one to land that punch when I heard it. And Chad walks over to Carter and he grabs his shirt and he pulls him away from the guy that's holding him back. And he throws him on the ground. And Chad's girlfriend runs up to him, telling him to stop. And then he starts to get mad at her. And he's all like, you're defending him now? Are you cheating on me with him now? Like, why are you defending him? And I'm just like, this is, like, ridiculous. And I look at Jason, and he's kind of looking at me, and I hear him saying, he's like, I'm going to call off this party. Like, this has gone too far. He walks over, and he pulls Carter off to the side, like, away from the fight area, like the circle. And now everyone's attention is on Jason, and they're all looking, and Jason's like, all right, since everyone wants to keep fighting at my house and no one can get along, everyone out. Go home. Party's done. Party's over. And now everyone is just like, boo, and they're all upset and they're angry and they're mad. And so everyone just starts to leave. And now Chad is getting mad. So now he's real upset because he was enjoying the party, but now his party's ruined because Carter, you know, I guess supposedly was hitting on his girl. and now he just, I guess, technically got kicked out of the party. And so he's mad, and he's mad. He's like, he's cussing at Jason. He's throwing him the finger, and Jason's just like, guys, like, come on, get out, go, go. And Chad, as he's walking out to the door, Jason has this picture hanging up, and it's hanging up, like kind of by the front door, like above this, like little table that they have there. And Chad is walking out the door, and he sees the picture hanging, and he like swipes his hand at the picture, and he swipes it, and he like kind of like swipes it off the wall, and when he hit it, it fell off, and the glass shattered on the floor, and Jason completely lost it. I didn't know anything about that picture, but he destroyed something in the house, and now Jason's real mad. And Chad turns around and he sees Jason, pissed off, and Jason's like kind of like sprinting, and he's walking really fast toward Chad, and Chad like throws like a smirk, and I see him like kind of sprint out the door. And so me and Alan, we follow behind Jason, and we run out the door, and we see Chad and his girlfriend get in the car, and they're pulling out of the driveway. And as they're pulling out, Chad purposely kind of like pulls his car really hard, and he swings and smashes Jason's mailbox clean out of the ground. Smashes it straight out, and the mailbox is like crumbled, and the metal's all bent, and Jason's mad. And I see him run over to the car, and like just before Chad put the car back in the drive to take off, Jason runs over, he jumps on the hood of Chad's car, and he jumps up with both of his feet and nails both feet straight into his windshield. Like absolutely obliterates his windshield, and does a big old like spider web kind of like effect that happens when you break a window, and it's just exploded. Like there's a big hole in the windshield, and there's glass, and Chad's like, hell no, and I see him get out of the car, and he goes and he grabs Jason's foot, and he pulls him down off the car, and they just like try to fight each other. Like I see Jason go and he grabs his head, and then Chad goes and he grabs Jason's shoulders, and they're trying to like throw each other. And so we run over, we grab Jason, and we pull him back, and he's still trying to go over there. He's trying to beat up Chad, and his girlfriend like comes around the corner, and she grabs him, and she's like holding him because she knows he can't hit her, so she's purposely standing in front of him and kind of like blocking him. And Jason's like yelling, he's cussing, he's mad, and we hear like a front door open, and we turn around and we look, and it's Jason's neighbor, and she walks out, and she's like, is everything okay? And she sees the smashed mailbox. She sees like like the punched in broken glass windshield, and I just see her say, oh hell no. And I like look at Jason, and he's like with fear now because she takes her phone out, and I assume she's just calling the police. And so Chad, he's like, all right, we gotta get the hell out of here. He gets in his car, and he rolls his window down. He's driving off, and he's like, you're gonna pay for this. I'm gonna find you, and you're gonna pay for this. And he just drives off. And Jason like runs over real quickly toward the neighbor, and he's like, hey, like, don't call the police, like, nothing like happened. And she's like, and she's on the phone with the police as Jason's saying this, like nothing happened, like his windshield broke because he smashed into my mailbox, it's all his fault. And I was like, Jason, and he puts like the broken windshield blame on the mailbox. Crazy. And I just hear like the neighbor, she's like, things are settled right now, come if you need to, but I just heard the story, everything's good. And she hangs up. And I'm like, no way, Jason just got away with saying that the mailbox broke the windshield. And so she's like, all right, well, the police are going to be coming either way, so you should probably just go inside and call the party off. And Jason's like, don't worry, like, I've already done that, I've already called the party off, people are going home. So people like leave, and me and Alan, we go to leave, and he's like, now you guys are good, y'all can stay, because we're like, we're his homies, like, we're his friends. And we're like, all right, cool. And we go inside, so it's just the three of us inside. And he's like, you mind helping me clean a little bit, just kind of tidy things up, put stuff back the way it was, because I'm going to get in freaking trouble. And like, yeah. So we put the alcohol that Marcus had gotten, a hold of. We fixed the backyard up. We pick up the picture that was broken. And I walk to Jason with the picture, and I tell him, I was like, yo, man, like, the picture's messed up. Like, I don't know anything about this frame. And he's like, no, man, I'm not worried about the frame. I'm just worried about the picture. It's a family photo. Like, he punched that off my wall. Like, that's special to me. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, man. Like, I understand completely. So I hand him the broken picture, and he just sits it on that little table that's next to the front door, like above, or like not above, below where the picture used to hang. and he sets it there. And so we finish cleaning up the house, and maybe about 10 minutes go by, and we're all sitting in the living room, and there's a knock on the door, and we look at Jason, and he's like, all right, guys, stay in here. I'll handle this. Probably the police. So he walks out the door, and we kind of hear like mumbling. I don't know exactly what he's talking about with the police. And me and Alan were kind of waiting, and about 15 minutes later, Jason comes back inside, and he's got like a half smile on his face. And me and Alan get up, and we're like, what happened, man? Like, is everything good? And he's like, well, things are fine. They believed my story and said that I said the mailbox broke his windshield. Now, the police didn't see the windshield, so technically the cops like don't know what it looks like. I don't know if Chad is ever gonna, go to the house again. I don't know if the cops will ever see that windshield. But the cops kind of just believed his story, I guess. And he's like, I am screwed though. They made me call my parents, and now my mom's on her way home. My dad won't be here because he's an out-of-town worker. He won't be here until like real past 12. So my mom's on my way home. You guys should like probably dip out. And we were like, all right, for sure. So I go and I'm looking for my phone. I get my phone, I get everything, I got all my stuff. And I'm walking toward the door, and I hear a car pull in. Like, whenever like a car pulls into the driveway, you can kind of hear the rocks like crackling. I hear a car pull in, and I'm like, well, it's too late for us to go now. And so me and Alan stand at the door, and I see his mom swing the door open, and she points at Jason, and she's like, what the hell did you do? And she walks in, and immediately the first thing she saw was the broken picture. And he's like, did you break that? And Jason's like, no, some dude who I had at my party got mad at me, and he punched it off the wall. Like, I'll buy a new frame for it. Like, I got it, I'll buy a new frame. And she's like, you better buy a new frame. And she's like she doesn't say a word to me and Alan. And she's walking around the house, she's looking at everything, she's going through all the stuff. And she goes to the backyard, and Jason like literally just put that empty bottle, because I guess the bottle that Marcus had was empty now. I think it was only filled halfway, and I guarantee he shared it with multiple people, so he was just drinking whatever was left in it. And he put that empty bottle back up in the cabinet, and me, Jason, and Alan walk over, and we see his mom open the cabinet, and she's like, good, and she closes it, and she looks, and she sees me and Alan, and she's like, oh, you boys can go, like, I gotta talk to your friend here, like, come back next time, you guys have a good night. And we're just like, all right, like, you too. So we dap up Jason, and we just kind of head out the door and go home. Like, we get our ride, we go home, because I'm a freshman, I don't have a car yet. And we're at home, and it's about maybe 11 or 12 at night, and I'm sitting at my desk playing video games when I get a text from Jason. And which was surprising, because I thought that she was going to take away like his stuff, but I guess she didn't. And he texted me, and I opened up the text, and I'm like, everything will happen. And Jason's like, so I didn't get grounded, really. She's just upset that the picture's broken. And I'm like, not the mailbox? And she's like, I guess not. She's just upset the picture's broken, and the police had to come to the house because, I was being stupid, and she didn't want to have to leave her party or wherever she was at. But she didn't give like a crap about the mailbox. She just told me, easy fix. You're not grounded, just don't have a party anymore. And I was like, all right. And that was kind of it. So that was, the story. Nothing too crazy happened afterward. It was crazy. That was probably my first party I went to. I went in thinking it was just going to be like a hangout with like, the three of us, maybe 2 extra people. But it ended up being a full-blown party with some kids from my school, which was pretty cool because I never got to really experience that before. And I hope you guys enjoyed that story. Please make sure to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications. And I hope you guys have a good day, night, or evening. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.